This is our last chance to make our voice heard. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Three words for you. First word, passion. Say it. 1, 2, 3. Passion. Second word, vision. Say it. 1, 2, 3. Vision. Last word is action. Say it. 1, 2, 3. Action. I'm going to begin those 3 words and I sit down. 3 words. First word is passion. Pastor Thigpen took us as Moses led us across the Red Sea. But I'm going to fast forward a few years, because if you remember, the Israelites were lost in the wilderness for 40 years. And I want to now take you to the man called Jericho, the city of Jericho, and the man Joshua. The Bible, have your attention, please. The teacher in me will not begin. Can I get an amen? Joshua was ready to lead God's people into the promised land. But God gave them one charge to enter the promised land. And that was they were to march to the city. We marched to the State House. He told them to be loud and play trumpets and make noise. We were loud, we played trumpets, and we made noise. And God said, if you do that, the walls will come tumbling down. You are here today, the largest single gathering of teachers in the history of the state of South Carolina. And you have done something that my colleagues never thought you'd do. We showed up by the thousands. And we made noise. And the biggest thing is, we ain't done yet. Have your attention, please. I want to thank you. I want to thank several people. First of all, I want to thank the strongest people in the world. And that is the people that have been holding signs up for 3 hours in the room. But I want to thank all of the teachers in South Carolina. You are never thanked by us in Columbia. I thank you, my colleagues standing beside me. Thank you for the work that you do for your children every single day. Give yourselves a round of applause. You are here today not just to tell us your vision. You're here today to tell us what you do. Because you leave your house each morning when it's still dark. Can I get an amen? Yeah. You get to the school an hour early to do bus duty and make copies. Can I get an amen? Yeah. And when that bell rings, you are standing in the hallway welcoming those kids in that you'll have for a whole day. Give me an amen. Yeah. And when that day starts, that day will not end until the bell rings at the end of the day. You will not pee. You will not be able to communicate with your husband or your wife or your children like any other professional could do during the day. Can I get an amen? And then you enter your classroom. Classrooms that years ago had 20 students in it. But because of the neglect of this General Assembly, the average class size, by the way, you have been told that the average class size is 14. Here is $20. I dare any of my colleagues in the Senate of the House to go to any school in South Carolina, in any regular classroom, and can't find one class with 14 kids. But folks, when you go in there in a few minutes, don't stop there. Because, and I need this, I'm a Baptist, now I need some amens. That 30 has 7 kids on IEPs. Can I get an amen? 3 special ed students that are being mainstreamed to your classroom. Can I get an amen? You've got 1 ESOL student that doesn't even speak English. Can I get an amen? You've got 4 students that need mental health counseling. Can I get an amen? And by the end of the day, you need mental health counseling. You have 3 students with severe behavioral problems. Can I get an amen? You have 8 students. You have 8 students that are so advanced that if you're not challenging them, nod your heads, if you're not challenging them every second, they're going to become behavior problems because they're bored. Can I get an amen? And you've got 4 struggling readers that you're supposed to teach your content and teach them how to read all at the same time. And with these 30 kids, we tell you to differentiate instruction. We tell them that your 10th grade students better be reading on a 10th grade level. And you've got to teach them calculus all in the same year. Can I get an amen? You have to spend half your time preparing your kids to take high-stakes, standardized tests that will never do them any good. Can I get an amen? Those 30 kids, you have to play referee, counselor, mental health help, aid, make sure they eat, make sure they watch. You are responsible for those 30 kids. And how does your General Assembly support you in this town? South Carolina, we have been told over and over again, we need to be up in the national average in teacher and student achievement. But year in and year out, we rank 48th, 49th in teacher pay. I say that again, we rank 48th and 49th in teacher pay. We have a base student cost per pupil funding formula that's been around since the 1970s. And we haven't funded that formula one time in the last 11 years. And 11 years doesn't sound a long time to those folks, but that is an entire career of a student that enters the first grade all the way to their 7 years. And you have been told the reason we can't fully fund base student cost per pupil funding is we ain't got no money. This year, the General Assembly had $1.1 billion extra dollars. Guess what we did to your base student cost funding? The House cut it by $18. The Senate cut it by $3. Meaning whatever budget passes, you will get less money next year than you got this year per student. Is that looking after your students? Meanwhile, they try to shame, intimidate, castigate, and detriment you for not being able to speak out for your students. Passion, say it with me, 1, 2, 3. Passion! But passion ain't good enough. No. The second word is vision, 1, 2, 3. Vision! For lack of a vision, the people shall perish. For lack of a vision, the people shall perish. You know what the vision here is in South Carolina? Since 1998, the vision has been, if we could just test every kid, every grade, every subject, every day of the year, our kids could improve. You know what the vision is of this General Assembly? 8 people back in December got in a room and wrote an 84-page ed reform bill. Not a single teacher in the room. The House had one evening hearing. 1,000 teachers came. Everyone said it sucked. The bill passed the House 113-4. But before you blame them, if you got the same grandma I had, grandma said, be careful pointing fingers because you got what? It ain't their fault they don't know what good teaching and learning is, because you know what good teaching and learning is, and we haven't been standing up for our students. Can I get an amen? Amen. For too long in South Carolina, teachers have been sitting back and allowing non-teachers to set the vision for teaching and learning, and that's got to stop. For too long in South Carolina, we educators have been trusting our elected leaders to do right by the kids in the classrooms, and that's why we have the problems we are today. So I'm here today to challenge you. We need to speak up. And as I close, people ask, what is our vision? What is our vision? And as I go through our vision, we aren't here today to tell us we want something done in 10 years. The time is now. Let me hear you. The time is now. I can't hear you. The time is now. We have class size caps in legislation since the 1970s. These class size caps would keep your class sizes low. But your General Assembly has waived those class size caps for 11 straight years. Believe it or not, we do not need a bill to introduce lower class sizes. All we need to do is quit waiving the state law that mandates class sizes. I was told when we introduced an amendment that we weren't ready to do that yet. But the time is now. Say it. The time is now. We are over-testing our kids. Make some noise. We are over-testing our kids. An old farmer told me, you don't fatten cows by weighing them. Every day those cows are on a scale, they're not grazing and getting fat. We are doing that to your children. Before the Education Accountability Act, we teachers could teach from the first day of school to the last day of school. Now we have to quit May 1st to do nothing but what? To do nothing but what? And those are a whole month of instruction we teach. We must reduce over-testing. And when should we do it? The time is now! Mental health counseling. How many crises need to happen in our schools? How many violent acts, student on student, student on teacher, how many of these have to occur before we wake up and demand mental health counseling in our schools?
That's great.
1/2 of our schools have no mental health counselors. The rest of you have mental health counselors on Tuesday and Thursday. I hope your student only needs mental health counseling on Tuesday and Thursday. We know the research has shown, Republican research, Democratic research, mental health counseling can help us meet the needs of our kids, which will help them learn in our classrooms. The time is now! Mandatory break each day. We stand across from two gigantic, turn around and look, two gigantic office buildings where lawyers and doctors and architects all work. Do you think they have to hold their pee for 8 hours? As teachers, we deserve to be treated as human beings. Teachers need to be able to have a break to make sure that they can take care of themselves. Teachers also, and by the way, we need that break when? Oh, you meant right now. I'm almost done. Teacher to retaliation. You have been bullied this week. You've been bullied by your community. You've been bullied by your own state superintendent of education. just got to keep our teachers from being bullied. And therefore, when teachers speak out, we need to make sure we have an anti-retaliation bill in place that protects the rights of teachers. And we need that win. We need that win. We need to, at some point, turn control of the classroom back to the teacher. At some point, people keep asking me, Fanning, what is the secret? What's the silver bullet? What's the program? The answer is, let teachers teach and students learn. We need to let teachers teach when? And then we got to be willing to put our money where our mouth is. You'll hear people in here tell you they value you. I'm telling you, what I want you to say is, show me your budget and we'll tell you if you value us. We need to fully fund base student costs, and we need to do it now. We need to address our teacher supply problem, and we need to do it when? Now. 6,000 teachers left the profession last year. For some it was money, but others additional bureaucracy, over-testing, and a complete lack of respect for teachers. We need to respect our teachers, and we need to respect them when? Now. And finally, we need to make sure the number one thing that any legislator needs to hear from you, of all the program's funding, is that we in the General Assembly need to listen to you. And so I will conclude with my final word, action. Say it, 1, 2, 3. Action! My wife tells me, don't tell me you love me. Show me! My son says, don't let me hear you talk the talk, Dad. I want to hear you. My preacher says, faith without works is dead. We need to put our faith into action. Can I get an amen? Amen? And I close with an Ethiopian proverb. The old Ethiopian proverb that I used to teach when I taught world history at Columbia High School and Eston High School. And this old Ethiopian proverb says, when spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion. When spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion. Now when you think about spiders fighting lions, no one ever believes in the spider. In fact, the only thing ever said about the spider was this little song. And it was all about this little itsy bitsy. And this little itsy bitsy spider went up the... And as soon as he got to the top, down came the... And... But then out came the... And dried up all the... And the itsy bitsy... Went up the spout. Ladies and gentlemen, I just described the day in the life of a teacher. You will spend your whole night planning the perfect lesson plan. Can I get an amen? And you'll get in there and you've got the music cranked and you've got your kids going, and all of a sudden, the water comes down. It could be a fire alarm. Can I get an amen? It could be unannounced testing. Can I get an amen? And we get washed out and we finally make it through the day. We have to start the whole day over again. We get discouraged when we're spiders. But I came by this morning to give you an encouraging word from the old Ethiopian proverb, which says, when spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion. We've got some lions in South Carolina. We've got lions of underfunding, lions of crowded classrooms, lions of extra bureaucracy, making you spend pages and pages on SLOs and lesson plans that are required to be longer than a Hemingway novel. Can I get an amen? You've got lions of disrespect of your role in the classroom. You've got lions of a fortress of not willing to change, 11 straight years of underfunding. But I dropped by to tell you that when spider webs unite, they can do what? I'm not asking you to work harder. I'm not asking you to work smarter. I'm only asking you, teachers, will you spin your webs that you do every single day? Spin them together. You blew people's minds today. No one expected over 10,000 teachers to show up. But I remind you, each of you showed up. But if one of you had showed up yesterday, it would not have been as nearly as powerful as you showing up with 9,999 of your fellow teachers. There is power in numbers. But the work has just begun. Remember, action is our last word. Say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Action! The work only begins today. I need you to, when this is done, I need you to go in the State House, where every single member of the House is sitting, and everyone in the Senate is in there, and I need you to make sure they hear your voice. And I want you to make sure that they know that you ain't going away. But I've got a challenge. Will you do one challenge with me? Say yes. Yes! I want you to challenge every single legislator to spend a day in the classroom with you next fall. And then I challenge you to make sure that when we go next year to hold elections, that you remember the power that you have today. Because I teach,